guys, Fear 880 and welcome to an updated Jeep video. It is time to put the face palm. We were this close to getting rid of the Jeep. This close. So, many of you, most of my subscribers have watched the issue with the ticking issue that I've had with my engine probably for the past year and a half. Many of y'all know that I had a transmission failure last year. So let's go ahead and line dealers up. Dealer number one, we'll call them dealer number one for legal purposes for right now. They're about probably 20 minutes away from where I live, and they're the ones who have done most of the service work to the Jeep. Why? Because they're so close to my residence. Dealer number two, they're about 27 minutes away from us. They do the service work, or they used to do the service work on my truck. Why? My office is about 15 minutes away where I keep my work truck. They took care of me a long time ago with an injector issue that I had on my Cummins turbo diesel. So, moving along. Dealer number three, Benson Chrysler Dodge and Jeep. They're about, realistically, they're about 30, 35 minutes away. So, let me continue. The story on the Jeep last year is I had a ticking issue that kept getting worse and worse and worse. However, I never had a check engine light. The cylinder head never self-destructed itself, which in turn Chrysler would do nothing about. The dealership would do nothing about it. Chrysler wouldn't. After posting a video of the issue on Jeep's Facebook page, I got a call from Chrysler Corporate that said send it to my local dealer that's nearby. 3 weeks later, I got tappets, hydraulic lifters, and a few other things replaced. They would not replace the head. Got into a little pissing contest with them, but there was nothing I could do. That was right before they sent the letter out. There are some people that have watched my other videos on the cylinder head ticking issue and have said, well, my gosh, it's the gas that you're using in your area, or, oh, I love this one, you've got carbon buildup. And as many of you know, I have replied to that video with, y'all are just complete bullshit. I mean, BS, I'm sorry. Complete BS. It's not a carbon buildup issue. It's not about the fuel that I'm using in my area. It is an issue with the cylinder head from manufacturing that Chrysler is completely well aware of, and that's why they also sent the letters out to all the Jeep owners extending the warranty. Heck, just recently I was reading about a guy off of 2015 that just had his cylinder head his cylinder head replaced. So, little disclaimer here. Does that mean don't buy a Jeep? Heck no, go out and buy a Wrangler. These things are awesome. If I can go through what I just went through, yes, it's worth going through the hassle. Most of the new ones, you're not going to run into that issue, so let me continue. Cylinder head got worked on. It quieted it down quite a bit. Wasn't completely quiet. Then I had a transmission failure. My transmission went kapooey. A week later, supposedly, after I got my transmission rebuilt or several parts replaced on it, I then had a AC issue that happened. Basically, my AC was starting to lose its freon. So I bring the Jeep in to get the AC issue looked at, and supposedly I've got a rock that must have hit my condenser. We're not sure if warranty is going to cover this. I installed one of those screens over my grill where, theoretically, unless it's a really small rock, that's not possible. So, okay, they go ahead and replace the condenser. While it's in the shop, mysteriously, I have an axle seal leaking on my driver's side axle. We need to replace that too. Okay, get this all done. A day later, I get a call, my Jeep's ready to be picked up. I go to pick the Jeep up, I drive it to my office, which is just a few minutes away from dealer number one, and I notice my parking brake is a little spongy. I crawl underneath my Jeep. My parking brake cable that connects to the driver's side axle isn't even connected. It's just flopping there. I was a little pissed off, took it back, they apologized, fixed the issue. I go home, my AC goes out the next day. I bring it back. We're sorry, we use old seals. Chrysler doesn't send us new seals with condensers. Right, okay. So anyways, they apologize for that. They fix it. The next day, my battery mysteriously just goes stone dead. I won't even go there. I can't blame the battery on them, but man, I tell you, you want to talk about just complete being pissed off at people who can't fix a car correctly? So a couple of months go by, things are running good. Now my transmission's acting up again. Now it gets really aggravating. So in the morning, what happens is, when I leave the garage here to go up my hill in my neighborhood, it starts fumbling through the gears, like hunting through the gears. It'll go first, second, back to first, and then it'll jump into third, or first, second, jump into third, back into second. Here, let me show you a video of what it was doing. First, it just jumped through the gears just right then and there. So it's time to get this stuff looked at. About 2 weeks ago, our Cub Scout group went up to go spend the night on the USS Yorktown down in Charleston, South Carolina. What's beside the USS Yorktown? The gigantic Cooper River Bridge. The bridge that goes like way up. Well, after the overnight adventure is over with, we go and start heading home, start going up the bridge. The Jeep starts just jerking and stuff and just fumbling through second and third. It's time to get this thing to the dealership. I schedule an appointment on Monday. I take it to the dealership, explain what's happening. We'll get it all taken care of. Don't worry about a thing. And I tell them, by the way, will you do an oil change? Sure. Next day, mysteriously, my Jeep's fixed. Oil change is done. Come pick your Jeep up. I'm sorry, but all it was we just had to reprogram the computer in the Jeep. There's a TSB update. The update is for the torque converter issue. I get the Jeep, don't even leave the Jeep dealership, it's not fixed. I'm getting pretty pissed now. I get the trans tech out there and try to show him what's going on. Now I'm being told that, oh, I wasn't told this was exactly what was happening. We'll have to look into this a little further. I don't hear anything from the Jeep dealership. So I go home, I'm pretty pissed by now. I open the hood, guess what? My oil cap is missing. How hard? This is dealership number 1. So I get a hold of Chrysler Corp, my main rep guy, and I'm like, look, this is what's going on. So he says, listen, you need to get this Jeep to a different dealership. Fine. Dealership number 2. I go there the next day. First I called them, but trying to explain this over the phone doesn't work too well. So I drive down to the dealership. They're all pissy. They get into a little attitude issue of, well, we don't like to go behind other dealers' work or go behind their back. We'll have to talk to the service manager, but I doubt he'll look at your Jeep. What do you mean you won't look at my Jeep? Y'all all get paid to do the same thing, and I've never had an issue out of them before. And then he makes the comment saying, well, you know, we're only 10 miles away from the other Jeep dealership. Why haven't you brought your Jeep here to begin with? Forget them. Okay, dealership number 2 crossed off the list. The hell with them. Dealership number 3, Benson Chrysler Dodge and Jeep. Can I get angels saying a hallelujah? Hallelujah! So I call the service manager. I explain to him again, really briefly over the phone, what's been going on, and he's like, you need to bring your Jeep down to our dealership. I will take care of everything. So after lunch that day, that was on Wednesday of last week, I bring the Jeep to them after lunch. My service advisor, Scott. Scott is awesome. Right away, the first thing he does is pick a clipboard up and says, okay, tell me what's all been repaired on your Jeep the past year. Oh, let me back up a little bit. The night before I bring it to dealership number 3, I crawl underneath the Jeep. Guess what? My axle seal's leaking again on the driver's side. Frustration, frustration, frustration. So I tell him about my engine head issue. Well, wait a second. It's still ticking. I'm like, I know it's still ticking. It's never been fixed. Engine head. Okay, what about your transmission? Luckily, the video that y'all just saw, I put under the DVD, and he's like, all right, transmission issue. Axle seal, axle seal. The Jeep's been in a shop for 7 days. Check out my cool Chevy Spring rental car. So they hooked me up with a really cool rental car. So here we are at Benson CDJ in Greer, South Carolina. This is my service advisor, Scott. If you're in the Greenville area, y'all need to come check him out. The Jeep's fixed. Transmission fixed. Engine head fixed. Axle turned out to be a bent axle and a seal again. It's all fixed. Folks, the engine is whisper quiet. It is absolutely amazing. Again, we're going to go with dealer number 1, dealer number 2, and then Benson. Benson's the one who fixed it. 7 days it was in the shop, had a rental car, everything was taken care of, and I fought this entire ordeal for over a year, and y'all can follow the other videos. So I want to say a special thanks to Scott again. This man is awesome. If you've watched this video that long, if you've heard me on my other videos, I thank you very, very much. The whole point of this video is there has to be other people that are going through the same problems that we went through. We almost traded this in for a Ford Explorer. We almost traded this in on a Ford Explorer. I kid you not, a blue one. I'll show you a picture real quick. See that one right there? We almost traded this in for that, and it was like, why do we have to be penalized for a dealership that didn't do the correct jobs to begin with for an entire year span? If they can't get an oil change right, I don't think they're going to do too well for transmission. Google. One thing that I learned from this entire ordeal, and I should have did this in the beginning, and I'm passing this information to all my viewers, Google your dealership. Cars.com also has a rating. Google has a rating, and there's another rating system you can find as well if you do a Google search. It'll tell you all the things that are wrong with the dealership. Now, be careful when you're looking at this rating system, because some people rate the sales department and some people rate the service department, and sometimes it can kind of get you the incorrect reviews on the dealership if you're just going to the service department. But what I found out is dealership number 1 had just horrible dealer reviews. Service department reviews, just horrible. Dealer number 3 had some really, really good reviews. I felt very comfortable. So guys, thanks again for watching my videos. We'll get some new videos up to date here soon. A couple things that I want to do. I definitely want to get, and I had somebody ask about this, headrest monitors. Yes, those are coming soon. I just can't get the video output to work yet. That's a whole other thing to go through. I also want to get a remote start installed on this, and maybe a couple other things will be coming down the line. Click subscribe or like, or you gotta poke the screen around here, and we'll see you soon.